I spent 3 weeks traveling through the beautiful country of Vietnam. From the breathtaking northern mountains to the beautiful beaches of the southern islands, this country has something for everyone. In this 3-week mega vlog, I've compiled all my Vietnam footage to bring you along on the adventure and share this beautiful country with all of you.
I'm working on my foreign voice.
Hello from my windy balcony here in Hanoi, Vietnam. It is my very first time in Vietnam, and this is actually the longest leg of my trip. If you're just joining us, my name is Hawkins. I'm a traveling singer-songwriter, and I have been backpacking around Asia. I am so excited. I have a very long, intricate itinerary. It's going to be an exhausting, beautiful couple of weeks. That man really almost ended my life. I have my wide-angle lens on, so I don't think you can tell on camera how close that bike got to running me over. But successfully crossed my first Vietnam street. I am very excited about my first stop of the day. I wanted to get some coffee, and I found the perfect place to do so. This is the Note Coffee, and you can see the walls, the ceilings, the fan, the lights, everything is covered in sticky notes. It's so sweet. There is a little box of blank sticky notes. They all have cute designs on them, and you can leave your own notes. You can put them wherever. There's some on the air conditioner hanging out the window. It's really fun, and just sitting here with a coffee and reading all the notes is really, really enjoyable. While the menu here is quite extensive, it did say that the iced coconut coffee is the best seller, and it seems to be what everyone else is ordering, so I had to go for it.
I don't take it in big numbers. I could get used to this kind of hunger. Everyone deserves a lonesome slumber, so I don't take it in big numbers.
This is St. Joseph's Cathedral. It is a late 19th century neo-Gothic Catholic cathedral and one of the oldest Catholic churches in all of Vietnam. It does look like it's unfortunately closed at the moment, so I don't think I can go inside, but even just looking at the facade is really, really incredible. I'm just walking down the street right next to the cathedral, kind of walking the length of it, and it's so beautiful. There's all these trees, and you can see the cathedral architecture between the trees. Really, really cool.
Small doses, little tastes are all I need. Small doses are all it takes to feel the release. And like little roses get replaced, I'll wipe my slate clean until these small doses get a hold of me.
These small plastic stools are extremely iconic. You'll see them everywhere. I think pretty much most restaurants have people eating out on these smaller stools on the street. I think I'm getting there with the crossing the street. I've heard that you have to just commit and keep an even pace, which I think I've been doing. So far, 100% success rate. One thing that I really wanted to make sure that I saw while here in Hanoi was Hoa Lo Prison. This prison was built in 1896 by French colonists. It was initially used for mainly Vietnamese political prisoners. Then later, during the Vietnam War, this prison was used by the North Vietnamese to detain American prisoners of war. It earned the nickname Hanoi Hilton, so you may have heard it referred to as that, but the official name is Hoa Lo prison. While this obviously is not the most cheery stop here in Hanoi, I do think it's really important to see the country's history as much as possible. The exhibit there is actually quite intricate. I didn't film everywhere. I was also trying to make sure I was being as respectful as possible. I, of course, made sure to get permission before I filmed. I definitely think it's worth a visit. There's a lot more than I just showed on camera. There's an exhibit from the initial French colonial period, and then there's also a separate exhibit that details the Vietnam War and what the prison looked like during those two different times, because at least according to the prison, it sounds like it was very different. It is noisy and chaotic, and I am so excited for my next stop. We are going to the iconic, the famous Train Street here in Hanoi. If you're unfamiliar, Train Street is a beautiful, very narrow street here in Hanoi where a train does indeed pass right through the center of it. So I'm actually just walking down a little alleyway street parallel to Train Street because there's sort of a mini scam that goes on with Train Street that I want to warn you all about. My understanding is that what has happened is that some of the coffee shops, cafes that are along Train Street have hired police officers to tell you that the street is closed and that it's illegal to walk down the street unless you go to their coffee shop. I did just pass a whole group of what I think are cops. Maybe fake cops? I don't know. So I did my research. I found one coffee shop called 65 Railway Coffee that actually will tell you the train times for the day if you send them a message on WhatsApp. And you can reserve a table with them so you can know exactly when the train is coming at this one spot. And the person that I've been messaging with said that they will come and meet me if I send them a message if anyone tries to give me a hard time.
I won't tell you that I like it. I could get used to this kind of quiet.
Clearly we have to rush because the woman that I have been WhatsApping with came and got me, which I really appreciate, and she's running, so I am also running.
Maybe I'll even start to buy it, and I'll forget how much I like it.
It certainly was a rush, but we've clearly made it because I have at least 1 minute to stand on the tracks, but I should probably get out of the way. The woman who's been helping me out, my buddy today, has told me that I should actually hop over to the other side of the tracks because it's better for footage.
Small doses, little takes are all I need. Small doses are all it takes to feel the release. And like winter roses get replaced, I'll wipe my slate clean until these small doses get a hold.
Well, I can't say I've really experienced anything quite like that before. Because I have this lovely seat here at this cafe, I get to try my very first Vietnamese egg coffee. So I read that egg coffee was invented back in the 1940s when milk was scarce in Vietnam. It was replaced in coffee with egg yolk. Well, that was a huge success. The train is really, really cool to see, and you're very, very close to it when you're sitting here on Train Street. I highly, highly recommend messaging that same cafe on WhatsApp. The woman was so sweet. I mean, she was even telling me where to get the best photos from. She was just awesome. Now I'm gonna head back to my hostel for a bit, and I think that the best way to get there is on the back of a motorbike.
When I get bored like I know I will, I'll trade this in for a different pill, and you can watch me try to bend, watch me try to break. When my arms get tired of holding these poses, I'll be the one who exposes that small doses might be all that I can take.
There's nothing quite like Hanoi traffic witnessed from the back of a motorbike at rush hour.
Small doses, little taste are all I need. Small doses. roses are all it takes to feel the relief.
I am sitting here at one of the street side restaurants here in the old town. It is so noisy and chaotic and beautiful. I have decided it's time for me to order my first pho here in Vietnam, and it looks so good. Sitting here on the street is so great for people watching. You have all kinds of tourists and people who live here. There are people selling things. There is a guy singing karaoke, walking up and down the street with a speaker. It's a lot going on, and it's really good to watch while eating. I kind of just went randomly to one of the places on the street here. There are so many, and as you walk through the streets of the old town, many people will try to lure you into their restaurants with big menus, walking up to you. I think they're probably all pretty similar, but the one that I went to was really good, and the staff were really, really nice. And the people watching was top tier. The old corridor here in Hanoi is such a fascinating place. It is so crowded, so busy. There are bright lights and motorbikes and horns honking, people screaming. It is really just so energetic. I decided I wanted some dessert, so I stopped for mango sticky rice with coconut ice cream. And the rice is green, which I've never seen before. This was an incredible, jam-packed first day in Vietnam, and I have to say, Hanoi is already one of my favorite cities I've visited. It is so electric and alive and energetic here. I just love it. Good morning from Hanoi, Vietnam. Today I'm headed off on a very popular day trip to Ha Long Bay. Now, this is actually something that some people do as a 2-night, 3-night trip, but my time is super limited, so I'm going for a very long one-day tour, and right now I'm about to catch the bus. I believe it's about 2 or 3 hours, and I'm actually following my tour guide who is on a motorbike, and I'm walking, so I gotta go. We have made it here to Ha Long City. We have a little bit of time before we can actually get on the boat. The majority of the day is going to be a cruise, which I'm very excited about. But first we have stopped at a pearl farm. I will say this is one of those tour stops that feels a little bit more focused on trying to convince us tourists to buy something than to really teach us about the pearl process, which is not a bad thing. But if you know me, then you know I'm more likely to spend my money on travel than jewelry. So I don't think I will be buying any pearls today.
My baby got a job at the TSA. All he ever does is watch planes fly away. 'Cause since his lady left, he's counting down the rest. So my baby got a job at the TSA.
We just boarded the boat and immediately had lunch. It's family style, so you sit at tables of 6. We had a lot of different kinds of Vietnamese food. We had fish and chicken and shrimp and rice and spring rolls, lots of things. It was really yummy. And now I'm gonna check out the upstairs deck. Ha Long actually means descending dragon, and it comes from this old myth that a dragon descended on this area and created all of the rock formations that you see here today. Amazingly, it's not crazy windy. I think we're not going too fast, which is kind of nice. When I was choosing which tour to go with, there were two that I was choosing between that I could book at my hostel, and the guy said, one is a party one is a chill one. So I went for the chill one, and I would say it's actually very, very chill. Like, people aren't really talking to each other.
This life's a loaded gun. This heart's a lonely one. But if it knew what it was hiding from, maybe it would run.
Now, I haven't memorized the full itinerary for the day, but I know that Pearl Farm and lunch were the first two of a few different activities we have. The one that I'm most excited about is riding on a boat through a cave. I think that sounds really awesome, and I've never done that before. You can actually choose between riding the bamboo boat and kayaking yourself. I just decided to go with the bamboo boat because it sounded really cool, and I of course want to be able to take videos for you all. I think there is some swimming you can do as well, but it's not the hottest day, so I don't know if it's maybe too cold. I'm really going with the flow. I did not do a ton of research before booking this cruise because there are so many other parts of this trip that I have been heavily researching, and it's kind of nice to just go with the flow. We are now arriving at the largest cave in all of Ha Long Bay. This is Sung Sot Cave, which translates to surprising cave. As you can probably see by the number of people behind me, we are in a very long line. Up the side of a cliff though, which is a cool place to wait in a line. So I did make it up to the entrance to the cave. Definitely good to know. A lot of people here, lots of tourists taking lots of photos. Just be ready for that. I'm curious how claustrophobic the cave might feel, but it's supposedly the largest in Ha Long Bay, so maybe it'll be big enough for all of us.
Baby goes to church every Wednesday afternoon. Circle talks, a whiskey walk from the truth. Someone's gotta help him down, and then maybe back around. But my baby goes to church every Wednesday afternoon.
The camera is definitely not going to do justice to just how large this cave is. There are multiple chambers, and the nice thing is once you get past the first section, the tourist flow does spread out a bit because it's just so large. It really doesn't feel claustrophobic to me at all. It's really amazing how well lit it is. Obviously there's a lot of electric lights, but I don't think I've ever been in a cave that has natural light peeking in as much as this one does. I think we're just coming around to the exit now. It is a one-way system, so you don't have people trying to go both ways on the small walkways, which is very nice. Pretty incredible as you're exiting to have the cave on one side of you and the beautiful bay on the other. Just seeing both at once is so bizarre and fascinating. Just to share some final thoughts on the cave. It was one of those experiences where my attitude really did a 180. I feel like at first I was a bit overwhelmed by the crowds and the line, but for whatever reason the crowds thinned out and there was a lot more space inside the cave than I would have thought. And it was really cool. It's just such an incredible place to be and kind of bizarre to wrap your head around the idea that it's all natural.
This life's a loaded gun.
Oh my gosh.
This heart's a lonely one.
Thank you.
But if it knew what it was hiding from, maybe it would run.
I have switched to the GoPro because we are switching from the big boat to a smaller one. I believe I'm about to get on a rowboat and go through a cave. But first, I have to find a life jacket. All right, I have discovered the downside to doing the boat instead of the kayaks. There's a monkey over there, but it's too far away to see.
Dead by a deadline, white light goodbyes, one more chance to leave or be left. Now could be the right time. He's out on the sidelines, holding his own haunted breath.
That was really cool. I was really lucky that I got a seat in the front of the boat, especially for that point of view as you're going through the cave. We are here at the last stop of the day, which is T-Top Island. There are two main things to do here. There's a little hike to a viewpoint, and then there's, of course, the beach. Because this is just a day tour, everything is kind of rapid fire. So each of our stops have been about maybe 45, 50 minutes. Whereas I imagine if you do a 2 or 3 night cruise, you get to spend a lot more time at each of these places. I did walk over here to the entrance to the little hike. However, I'm realizing that I don't actually have that much time. My decision is also quite influenced by the number of tourists currently going up these stairs. There just seems to be a little bit more space on the beach. In some ways, the landscape here kind of reminds me of my time in Coron in the Philippines. Granted, that was 2 years ago, so it's possible that a lot has changed since then. And both are very touristic places, but I feel like this is much more crowded. But maybe I'm wrong about that. You can see lots of different cruises here. There are all different sizes of boats, which really speaks to Ha Long Bay being kind of a choose your own adventure sort of travel experience. I obviously only had time for a day trip, but I think that doing the overnight cruises would be really cool. If you're interested in doing a day trip like I did, honestly, you can book through pretty much any hostel or any tour group. I don't really think that one is different from the other. I'm just guessing. My advice would be to bring a bathing suit, bring some snacks. You do get lunch, but there's no dinner included on this tour. Make sure you have a book for the bus. It's a really long ride. If you do a day tour like mine, you can expect to pay around $55 US. That's what I paid. I'm sure there are slight fluctuations of price, but I think that's roughly standard. Our guide just said that on the top deck there is a tea party, so we're gonna go check that out, and I think the sun is just going down at the same time.
This life's a loaded gun. This heart's a lonely one. But if it knew what it was hiding from, maybe it would run. My baby got a job at the TSA. All he ever does is watch planes fly away.
The bus just dropped me back here in Hanoi. I'm right by the old quarter, so I'm gonna get back to my hostel and call it an early night, because tomorrow morning is the start of another adventure here in Vietnam. I am going to be tackling the very famous Ha Giang Loop. I couldn't be more excited about that. I am currently on a 5-hour-long sleeper bus journey from Hanoi to Ha Giang because tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I am attempting the Ha Giang Loop. If you're unfamiliar, the Ha Giang Loop is a very popular motorbike route in northern Vietnam. I have booked a tour that starts tomorrow, and it's 2 nights and 3 days. And I'm going to be spending those 3 days on the back of a motorbike. This is actually my first time on a sleeper bus. The seats are very nice. There aren't that many people on the bus. There is no bathroom though, hence the pit stop. But the whole ride is only about 5 hours, or at least it's supposed to only be 5 hours in total. The driver also requested that we all take our shoes off, and he had slippers for us waiting at the front door when we got off the bus at the rest stop. I've made it here to Ha Giang City. The bus ride was pretty easy. All in all, it was 6 hours long with one 10-minute stop for snacks and a 20-minute stop for dinner. Even though it was the sleeper bus, I wouldn't plan on getting too much sleep. Our bus driver seemed to have some sort of side hustle going on. He was picking up some local passengers that he knew and talking quite loudly. He also was picking up some packages. I don't really know what was going on there. None of my business. And the only other thing to note is that the USB ports in the seats didn't work. I don't say any of this to complain, just to let you all know if you're taking a trip like this to plan accordingly. Well, good morning. It is 8 a.m. I just checked in. I paid for my tour. There are a few different ways you can do the Ha Giang Loop. You can, of course, rent a motorbike and drive it yourself. However, it is a very dangerous road, and that is not recommended unless you are very experienced driving through Southeast Asia. So I have hired a driver. It's called an Easy Rider, and I think it's going to be a very, very safe, cool version of this tour. Behind me, everyone is getting suited up. We're getting our helmets, we're getting our drivers. I just met my driver. His name is Sai. He seems great, and I'm pretty much going to be spending every waking moment with him for the next 3 days. So what they've done is they have taken my smaller backpack, not my full bag for the 2 months of travel, but I put what I need for the next couple days in there, and it is now bungee corded to the back of the motorbike, and hopefully it will stay on the motorbike for the next 3 days. So we just were briefly stopped by the cops so that our drivers could take breathalyzer tests. And they all passed, so.
I've been sitting on a highway, watching cars go by.
We've only been driving for about half an hour so far, but we have come to our first stop. This is a little coffee shop rest stop on the side of the road with a pretty incredible view.
Thinking living in the fast lane could have kept me from hitting rewind. Oh, these hands of mine, how they tell the time. All alone, sometimes I slipped away. And as I moved around, I swore I liked the sound, but I just can't get myself to say the name.
We're here at another rest stop. At least so far, it seems like the stops are pretty frequent because it's still pretty early into the trip, but these views are just unmatched. Thank you. hope you can hear me all right over the sound of the waterfall. It is so beautiful here. I am a little bit regretting not getting my bathing suit from the back of the motorbike. However, it's quite cold, and I think when I get back on the bike, I will be very grateful to be dry. I was so bummed that I didn't manage to film any of the goats that we passed on the bike, and now we've stopped at a rest stop and I see some walking towards me. All right, it's time for lunch. After lunch was our longest stretch on the bike, so I decided to treat myself to a little coconut milk coffee, and it is delicious. I think this might be my favorite rest stop so far. There are hammocks, there's a swing, as always there's an incredible view, and it just feels so nice.
A lot of things can feel like summer. Blue skies, a warm rain. It's so easy to hold on to what you know is gonna change.
The views keep getting crazier and crazier. It's golden hour and we just made it to this incredible viewpoint. It's just so unbelievable to look back and think that we were on that road a few minutes ago. It looks so small and far away.
All these hands of mine, how they tell the time. All alone, sometimes I slipped away.
Throughout the day, I'd say that we've stopped maybe every 20-30 minutes. It's actually been much more frequent stopping than I would have expected, but it's been really nice and it's been a good chance to chat with my group members and get to know everybody. There are 7 of us in the group, which is a really nice size. I believe this was our last stop and now we're headed to the hostel.
And as I moved around, I swore I liked the sound, but I just can't get myself to say the name. When were you out of the blue, and how did you stay? 'Cause I've been strong, but this moving on has guided me astray.
First day, yeah.
Day 1 is officially done, or at least the driving portion anyway. We've arrived here at our homestay for the first of 2 nights on this tour. I thought that I'd be so ready to get off the bike by the end of all this driving, but it was so much fun. I can't wait to do it again tomorrow.
These hands of mine, how they tell the time. All alone, sometimes I slipped away. And as I moved around, I swore I liked the sound, but I just can't get myself to say the
We say
name.
1, 2, 3 rộ. 2, 3 rộ.
Are you ready?
Yeah!
Every night we say 1, 2, 3 rộ. 1, 2, 3 rộ. 2, 3 rộ. 2, 3 rộ. 2, 3 rộ rộ rộ. 2, 3 rộ rộ rộ. 2, 3 1. 2, 3 1. Cheers!
Good morning from Dzu Gia, North Vietnam. I'm gonna need some Vietnamese people to help me with my pronunciation on that. It is day 2 of the Ha Giang Loop tour and I am so excited to get back on the bike. I really thought that I would be exhausted from a whole day of biking, but it's just so fun. Last night we got into the homestay around 5 o'clock. The sun went down. I got to hang out with the other people on the tour. We went for a walk in the town. We ate an amazing dinner at the homestay. We did some karaoke. It was a very fun night and we all got to bed by 11 p.m. So I got a full night's sleep and now it's time for breakfast and day 2.
They're writing songs for New York and I'm losing relation. They're working through all of her chords. I'm on permanent vacation. But I wonder about the melody she's making.
We're starting our day here at the Dzu Gia weekly market. It's full of locals and then other tourists doing the Ha Giang Loop like us. I really love how bright all the clothes are, both the clothes being sold and what the local people are wearing. It's so pretty and it's just so nice to see so much color.
But I spend a little too long just contemplating.
It's definitely a little bit chaotic with the motorbikes honking and driving straight through the center of where people are walking. So you have to stay vigilant and pay attention to where you're going. We've just arrived here at our first rest stop of the day. I think that may have been my favorite stretch of road so far. It was just so beautiful. The sun is shining. We got so lucky with the weather today. That stretch was also really smooth. There weren't a lot of potholes and our drivers are so skilled at avoiding the potholes when there are some. So it just felt really nice. It feels weird to say that riding through the Ha Giang Loop on the back of a motorbike can be so peaceful and relaxing, but that is how it feels, or at least some of the time it feels that way.
What would I do with the news that everything I've done can be put to use? If that's true, then I've got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
So there's a truck right in front of us. It's a very small road, so I don't know what happens now.
They're writing songs for New York and they're climbing the ladder, moving towards some high reward cause they wanted it better.
It's delivering cows, live cows.
So I wonder about the heights I haven't reached. Then I spend a little too long in my questioning. What would I do with the news that everything I've done can be put to use? If that's true, then I've got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
Okay, now I understand why you do not do this if you're an inexperienced driver. This is officially the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm afraid that the GoPro did not capture just how insane that road was. It was a 45-degree angle downhill with these crazy twists and turns on this skinny little road, and just at the side of the road was a huge drop-off and the most beautiful views. It was a lot to take in. My whole body was so tense trying not to fall off the bike, but it was amazing. We are now going to have a relaxing moment on a bamboo raft. We just switched bamboo rafts because this one is shallower and so it can go into the cave. Oh jeez. The shoes that I borrowed are quite slippery and I did almost just wipe out and fall off of the bamboo raft, but I didn't.
Ooh, this cut is gonna bruise. Ooh, turn purple, yellow, blue.
We just had lunch with this incredible view out the window, and now I'm sitting on the roof of this building with my coconut coffee, which I've become a bit addicted to on this trip. They're so good. I have to say how good the food has been on the Ha Giang Loop tour. It's pretty much been the same meal every time, but each time we have it, it's better. I would have thought I'd be sick of it by now. Typically, there's some kind of brothy soup, rice, chicken, tofu, beef, lots of veggies, fried noodles, and French fries randomly. But it's all so good.
Long before I'm through. Ooh, wanting a life that I didn't choose.
We've just stopped here on the side of the road because we are about to tackle the Ma Pi Leng Pass. Supposedly, it's one of the most beautiful parts of the entire Ha Giang Loop. I'm so excited. So if I have this right over my finger is China.
So here we can see the Chinese border with Vietnamese.
We've just stopped again to get a closer look at the Vietnam-China border, which is in the distance over there. And now it's time for our very last stop of the day, our homestay. That's a wrap on day 2 of the Ha Giang Loop. We are here in Dong Van, which is a very different vibe from last night. Tonight we're in what feels much more like a city in a hotel. Last night we were in a very small town in a homestay. It's really cool to get to have 2 totally different nighttime experiences here. I have about 20 minutes until the sun fully sets, so I'm gonna do some exploring and then we're gonna have hot pot for dinner. This might sound crazy, but there's something about this place that reminds me of Andorra. It's some mixture of the stone architecture and the mural and the mountains. I'm not crazy, I promise.
What would I do with the news
Good morning. It is day 3, our final day of this incredible Ha Giang Loop experience. We're back in the old town here in Dong Van this morning to get some bun cha, which is very traditional local noodle soup for breakfast. Last night we stayed here in Dong Van in a hotel/homestay. We got some great hot pot for dinner, and then we witnessed a celebration. I don't know what else to call it. There was a bonfire, there was dancing, there was singing of Vietnamese patriotic songs. Everyone was in a great mood. It was really cool to experience. Apparently it happens here every Saturday or so, our tour guide told us. And now we are getting back on the bikes for our final few hours here on the Ha Giang Loop.
Some celebrity talking about therapy, how it don't come easily, holding back her honesty. I know I wear it on my face, feelings I cannot erase, thoughts that lack a hiding place. Your lips, they know the bitter taste, and now I can see why some people, they choose not to speak.
Well, this is intense. It's so quiet up here. There really is this amazing contrast between the intensity of being on these bikes so fast on these small roads and then these quiet moments in nature. We just had a longer stretch of driving without a break, and we did witness an accident. Luckily, it didn't look like it was too bad. The 2 people got up and they seemed okay. But I wanted to mention it because this is the second one that we've witnessed. The first was the first night, and it was 2 local people that I think swerved to miss a dog. And this one was on a much bigger road on a pretty steep decline. So it's just a good reminder to not drive this yourself as a tourist. I really, really think that you should hire a driver. It's dangerous, and it's really important to prioritize safety, obviously for yourself and also everyone else on the road. So I don't say this to deter you from doing the Ha Giang Loop, but to make sure that you do it carefully. So we're at another rest stop, and there is a game that all of the drivers play at each of these rest stops. And it's kind of like hacky sack, but instead of a little beanbag, it's a birdie, like in badminton.
Suffocate, bare its teeth and scare away, putting nothing on display. I know I wore that muscle out, biting tongue and closing mouth, and now the language won't allow, keeping it all in the house. And so you can see why your reticence is so hard for me.
We stopped for a delicious lunch, and now we are here at yet another breathtaking viewpoint. This viewpoint is called Heaven's Gate, and I can definitely understand why. It is beyond gorgeous. I think it might be my favorite one, although it's really, really hard to pick. They're all just breathtaking. A couple of things to note about the rest stops along the Ha Giang Loop. First of all, there are so many of them. You will not be stranded without a place to get coffee or a bathroom. But I will say, most of the bathrooms do not have toilet paper or hand soap, so it's really important to make sure you have some tissues on you as well as some hand sanitizer. Even though you of course have your backpack with you on the back of the motorbike, it is wrapped up and tied down, so it's not super easy or convenient to get things in and out of it throughout the day. I would recommend either having zippered pockets like I do, or a crossbody or bum bag. That would be really helpful to have things like hand sanitizer, tissues, money, your phone, cameras, etc.
The windows of the world look down on what we shouldn't speak about. The ties they say can't be unwound. How the past relates to now. Still the filter's coming off. My words will have to pay the cost. This open door will stay unlocked. Fight all that I
We're only 34 kilometers from Ha Giang City, and I'm sad because I don't want this to be over.
And then they will see why my breath runs away with me.
We're at another little traffic stop. Not really sure what's happening. So if you're wondering why the big crowd of bikes and cars that we're walking through, the answer is landslides. So I don't know what happens now, or if we make the 5 p.m. bus back to Hanoi. They have shut down the entire road, and there are people waiting on both sides because of landslides. Alright, it looks like they're opening it back up, so we gotta run back to our bikes.
All that I can do to keep from overstating everything is hope that you're not following, listening when I sing.
Beep beep. Beep beep indeed. We're about 13 miles from the city and the bus leaves in 1 hour. I think we'll be fine. Nothing like a little added drama to finish this insane weekend.
For every liberty I take, I promise you my mind will pay. The piece of my own heart will break with every smile I can't fake.
We're about to cross the road, and I'm scared. I made it. We are just 10 minutes away from where the bus is picking us up, and our leader Peter stopped to show us that he filmed everything this weekend and made us a little video. That was so cute. I'm emotional. I can't believe that this trip has come to an end. Sai and I are back on the bike for the last time. Thank you. We successfully made it on the bus. It's the 5 o'clock bus. I believe it gets into Hanoi at midnight, and it's my first proper full-sized sleeper bus because the one on the way to Ha Giang was more of a van. This is full sleeper bus experience. So I'm kind of excited. I said goodbye to my driver, Sai. I'm gonna miss him. He kept me safe all weekend. He was amazing. It was just an incredible, incredible weekend. Welcome to Da Nang, Vietnam. This is a fantastic city. It's the perfect mix of beach and big city, and it's a rising hotspot for digital nomads. So the city of Da Nang is split into 2 sections, the west side and the east side, and they're separated by the Han River, which I'm walking along right now. So I am on the west side of the city. It's kind of like the main city area, and the east side is where the beach is. There are two very, very famous bridges that cross from the west to the east. The one behind me here is the oldest bridge in Da Nang, and it actually swings to the side to let big boats pass. And the one that I'm facing right now is a very, very interesting one. It is shaped like a dragon, and every Saturday and Sunday nights at 9 p.m. for 15 minutes, the head of the dragon breathes fire. I'm sitting here at the Joy Cafe, which I believe is attached to a hostel. I'm not actually staying here, but they have a beautiful view and there's almost no one else here. So I've gotten a Vietnamese iced coffee, so that's coffee with condensed milk, and this was $1.38 US. I'm gonna get a little bit of work done before I head out on some exploring, and then this afternoon is supposed to have the best weather of the whole week, so I think that means it's gonna be a beach day.
Never been one to take my time, gotta rush into it. I just have to speak my mind, won't let no one else do it. I got a lot to say, and I know it might seem cliche, but I just can't wait.
I had a productive morning, and now it's time for a lunch break. And I'm right here by Han Market, which is a major tourist spot, a sight to see here in Da Nang. So I'm gonna go check it out. This market is so much bigger than I was expecting. The front entrance is kind of small and almost unassuming. You go through a food section and then you come back here and there's this huge opening and there's just so much.
I'm gonna sing a little bit louder, stand a little bit taller, go a little bit farther, and love a little bit longer.
You definitely can get food at the market if you so desire. I think I'm looking for something a little bit calmer, so I found a place called I Love Banh Mi. And I do, so. I got one chicken banh mi that was $2.75, which is definitely more than if you just go to any old street stand in Vietnam. But they were also a bit larger portions, so I'd say that evens out. And now, according to my weather app, it's supposed to get very sunny in the next hour. So I think it's time for a little work break at the beach. I'm gonna go back to my accommodation and drop off my laptop, grab my bathing suit, and hop on a grab bike to the beach. I made it here to Maya Beach Bar. It is just beautiful here. I'm shocked that in a beach this central, there aren't more people here. I want to make sure that I include how much I'm paying for everything so that you all can get a sense of what the actual cost of living is here. So my grab was about 15 minutes and it cost less than $1.50. And I've just ordered a nice drink here at this fancy beach bar, and it was about $5.70. Definitely on the pricier side for this part of the world, but you couldn't ask for a better location, so I'm very happy to pay for it. The sun has unfortunately gone away behind a cloud. However, the sky is still so blue, the water is so beautiful, and I really can't get over how empty the beach is. I mean, there are people here for sure, but there's so much space to spread out, walk around, swim. I'm definitely gonna get in the water at some point, but I'm procrastinating.
Each and every day, I'm thinking about tomorrow. It's just always been that way. Won't drown in no sorrow.
I definitely made a mistake by not going swimming while the sun was higher in the sky, but it's supposed to rain the whole rest of the week, so this might be my only chance to swim in the water this week. So we're doing it. It's not super cold. It's not hot, but it's not too cold. I think it's too far away to see on the GoPro, but in the distance on the mountain over there is the Lady Buddha, which is this really large, iconic statue here in Da Nang. I don't know if I'll get the chance to go over there, but it's really cool to see it in the distance, just swimming on the beach.
I just keep moving on, 'cause I know I'll get along still. I have to try to laugh until I'm crazy, cry till my vision's hazy, dance until I'm happy, and love until you love me.
I have to say how absolutely beautiful it is right now. The sky is all sorts of colors. The sun has just started to set. It's about 4:45. It's just so nice. Maybe I'm crazy, but I just wouldn't expect a beach right in the center of a huge city to be this lovely. It's now time for dinner, and I've definitely noticed that Da Nang has a lot of international food options. I have been loving the Vietnamese food, but I think I might want to try something a little different, and I heard of a Thai restaurant called Thai Market that is supposedly really well reviewed. And if you know me, you know how much I love Thai food, so we gotta check it out. It's so noisy right here. I am gonna get a little more work done tonight. However, I think first I want to try something new. Obviously, spa treatments are really big in this part of the world. You'll see a lot of places offering very affordable massages, but specifically in Vietnam, I've seen a lot of signs for hair washes. I think it's kind of like when you go and get your hair cut in the United States, they'll give you a little shampoo and give you a head massage. It sounds lovely, so I'm gonna try it. So you lie down on this table that has a sink attached to it, and it was roughly a 30-minute hair wash / scalp massage, followed by a 30-minute head, neck, and shoulder massage. It was amazing, and then obviously they blow dried my hair. 10 out of 10 experience, to be honest, and I paid just under $12. There may be cheaper places, but when it comes to spas or massage parlors, I really only want to go to ones that are well reviewed, and the place I went to had a ton of really positive reviews, and I'm another one to add to the list. It was great. Now I'm going to do my digital nomad in Asia move and do some work, even though it's about 10 o'clock at night. So we're gonna see what the situation is here with late night coffee shops.
I just want you to notice that I'm not hiding anymore.
I might be the very last person to leave that coffee shop. It's open until 1 a.m. and I just was very excited about that. Well, good morning. It is another day here in Da Nang and it's actually kind of a cozy, rainy, gray day. I'm definitely glad that I got my beach day in yesterday. Today, I think I'm going to be doing a bit of coffee shop hopping and getting as much work done as I can. I have lots of video editing to go through. So that's the plan for today. There are so many coffee shops here. Let's explore a few. It is raining a bit more now, but I'm gonna head to get some lunch. That coffee shop was really nice. It's a great spot for work. And I got to try my first salt coffee, which was so good.
Laugh until I'm crazy, cry till my vision's hazy, dance until I'm happy, and love until you love me. Sing a little bit louder, stand a little bit taller, go a little bit farther.
I thought we had gotten a break in the rain, but it seems to be starting up again. Lunch was delicious, and now I'm running to a second coffee shop co-working type space that is supposedly 24 hours. I gotta say, the coffee shop culture here actually really reminds me of Buenos Aires, specifically Palermo. It's really nice. I'm actually really close to the beach right now, and even though it's obviously gray and rainy and the sun is going down, I just want to take a little rainy walk on the beach before I call it a day.
Sing a little bit louder, stand a little bit taller, go a little bit farther, and love a little bit longer. Love a little bit longer.
Welcome to the beautiful lantern city, Hoi An. This beautiful coastal town in central Vietnam is many people's favorite when they come to this country. I have just arrived. I took a 45-minute car ride from the city of Da Nang, and we're gonna do some exploring together. I have heard such great things about Hoi An that part of me wonders if it's even possible to live up to my expectations. That said, we're gonna give it a fair shot, and we're gonna explore it. This is the Ba Mu Temple Gate. It was built in the year 1626, so almost exactly 400 years old, and it is just stunning. I kind of happened upon it by accident because I just walked straight into the old town, and this was one of the first things I saw.
She takes her time. She lives alone and unwise. She's stalling while calling out for more. She doesn't know what for.
As you maybe have already noticed, Hoi An is very full of clothing stores. That is because this city is famous for offering custom tailor-made clothing. It's a very popular thing to do here. I am, of course, sadly limited because I am traveling only with a backpack, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do a little shopping today. We'll see. Right now I'm headed to get some lunch from a popular banh mi spot that was actually recommended to me by my taxi driver. So if you are coming here from Da Nang, you absolutely can use Grab. That is the local Southeast Asia equivalent of Uber. However, I used Grab coming in from the airport several days ago, and my taxi driver gave me his WhatsApp and said, if you want to do any traveling in the area, just send me a message. So he has agreed to drive me here and later in the day drive me back to Da Nang for, I believe it was around $25 US. I successfully got my banh mi. The wait wasn't too long, but the reason that place is so popular, I discovered, is because Anthony Bourdain went there, and they really lean into it. They have pictures of him hanging up, and he's even on the bag that the banh mi comes in. I do have to say, that banh mi was really good. And considering it was a touristy, Anthony Bourdain-y place, the price was only $1.38. I'm now walking through the market, which has a nice mix of food and souvenirs. And so far, it does seem like the prices are higher here than anywhere else. I think that's, you know, pretty standard, that the farther away you get from the center or the most touristy part of town, the cheaper the prices are.
She's on the edge of the night. She's only blinded by the light. Nothing unspoken, endless outward hoping's keeping me tied to her.
I just stopped and bought a couple of mango cakes. They're like little donuts from a stand, and the price was 20,000 for two, which is roughly 78 or 79 cents in USD, which obviously is extremely affordable. But I do think that for these two small bites, that is probably the higher end of how much you would pay for that, which I include not to say I'm upset with that price in the slightest, only to say that things in Hoi An, especially in the center where I am now, they're definitely more expensive. It's not the best thing I've ever eaten, but it's not bad. I obviously haven't yet been here in Hoi An for very long, but my first impressions are, it's kind of like walking through a mall. Now, I don't mean that in such a negative way as it sounds, because it is beautiful, and I'm very happy and surprised there aren't that many tourists here. I mean, everyone here is a tourist, but it's not, you know, super crowded, thankfully. That said, it kind of seems like the thing to do here is buy clothes, which I don't have time to do, you know, get the custom fit, but I might do a little shopping. I'm definitely doing some browsing, but I think now I would like to sit in a cozy cafe and take a little break from the mall of it all. That coffee shop is very cute. I will say it's definitely one of those Instagram specific type of situations. I didn't realize when you go up there that you're not actually allowed to sit right at the edge of the rooftop because it is reserved for people taking pictures. But I will say that's one of the best coconut coffees I've had in all of Vietnam. So. All right, I did successfully do a little bit of shopping here at this nice ceramic shop and then got a good chuckle when a man rode his motorbike through the ceramic shop. So I'm walking along the water now, and I've decided I'm going to cross over and explore the other side of the city, though I am getting the feeling it may be quite similar. It looks, at least from what I can see here, to be pretty much the same on either side. Lots of cafes and shops. I definitely would say it's mostly shops. So far, my feeling about Hoi An is that it's really beautiful and fun to walk around, but I don't maybe see why people spend multiple days here. From my understanding, a lot of backpackers will spend 3-4 days in Hoi An and only do a day trip to Da Nang if they visit at all. But I'm pretty happy that I'm doing the opposite. One thing that I definitely think is important to be prepared for if you're coming here is that there is a lot of selling. Look, I've mentioned this already. It's a place you go to shop, lots of clothing stores, but everywhere you walk, someone is coming out of a restaurant, of a clothing store, of a massage parlor, trying to bring you in. And everywhere is happy hour, and everywhere has 2 for 1. They don't really. It does get a little bit exhausting, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and visit an Irish pub. I hate to be negative, but I was gonna go to this Irish pub. I had heard good things, and I think it's hilarious that no matter where in the world you go, there are Irish pubs. But a pint there was $10 US. Actually, it was more than that. It was $10.20, which is more than Ireland. It's more than New York. It's just about 4:30 now. The sun is sort of starting to go down. I stopped for a nice little cocktail and mainly just a sit down. And now I'm noticing more people here. I'm kind of wondering if maybe most tourists or tour groups, as I'm seeing, come closer to sunset, because it hasn't been too crowded up until right now.
She's on the edge of the night. She's only blinded by the light. Nothing unspoken, endless outward hoping's keeping me tied to her voice inside my ears, her freedom in the years, her laugh echoes my tears.
I just crossed over the Japanese Bridge, which is an iconic wooden bridge here in Hoi An. I did some research to try to find out when it was built, but different places on the internet told me the 16th, 17th, and 18th century. So if my Vietnamese followers can let me know, I have no idea.
Her fun is to be had. Her future takes that path. Her time, it won't come back.
maybe made this clear already, but there's not a long list of things you have to see, have to do here in Hoi An. The big thing that people come here to do, besides just wander around and have nice moments in cafes, is get clothing made. And while I don't have time for tailored clothing, I think I'm here, when in Rome, I want to buy a skirt. As you can tell, the old town doesn't have cars, it's pedestrian only, but pedestrian and also little bike trolley. There are still motorbikes and regular bikes and these little bike pushing trolley situation. During the day, there really weren't that many other tourists here, but now as it's turning to nighttime, I think everything's gonna look quite beautiful with the lanterns and the lights. So I think that is attracting more tourists and making things a little bit more crowded. Now I feel like I can officially say I have been to Hoi An. I did in fact buy a skirt. It was just under $10 and I did do a little bit of haggling just for fun, but the woman was really sweet. It's a nice shop. And I feel like it's a skirt that I could wear at my shows. So if you see me wearing it at any of my concerts, you know where I got it.
She's on the edge of the night. She's only blinded by the light. She's on the edge of the night. She's only blinded by the light. Nothing unspoken, endless outward hoping's keeping me tied to her.
Well, I think it's fair to say that you can't really come to Hoi An and not see the river at night. You can see why this is sometimes referred to as the Lantern City. It's very beautiful. The lights are so nice, and seeing all the boats where people are releasing these little paper lanterns with candles in them. It's really nice. It reminds me of the movie Tangled in the best way. I definitely understand why the city got a lot more crowded after sunset. Well, my friends, I started this day here in Hoi An not knowing if it would live up to the crazy expectations that people have set for me in the city. And the reality is, I am so glad I came. I will say I'm kind of surprised that people spend multiple days here as opposed to Da Nang, but I had the perfect one-day experience here in Hoi An. I definitely recommend it as a day trip. I think it's really worth seeing, and maybe not spending a ton of time here. It felt kind of like a mall, and malls are fun, and this one is certainly the most beautiful one I have ever been to. Hello from Ho Chi Minh City, formerly known as Saigon, of course. I am here in this big, bustling city. I seem to have found a slightly quieter, or relatively quieter spot in this park here. But I am headed off on a very exciting, very full day of exploring. I am headed to the iconic Ben Thanh Market to start my day.
Ivy and vine, poison and wine. It's just a matter of how you choose to waste your time.
That was the easiest street crossing I've had in Vietnam so far. I don't think the rest of them will be like that. This is Ben Thanh Market, an iconic, very famous market here in Ho Chi Minh City. There has been a market here since as early as the 17th century. However, it has been rebuilt and reconstructed many times. This building that stands here now was built in 1912. This market is a great place to come for souvenirs and food, and really just a taste of life in Ho Chi Minh City. I may have to make a correction. The website for the market said that this building was built in 1912, but this sign says 1914. So if you know, let me know. Walking around the market, it smells of coffee and durian, and mostly good smells, depending on how you feel about durian. I'd say it's largely souvenirs that they have for sale here, but there are definitely food stalls and lots of coffee and tea, and definitely a lot to explore, but again, lots of, Saigon souvenirs. So there is a bit of, I don't want to call it heckling, but people trying to get your attention for sure. No, thank you. It's not too much. I had been warned actually that it's intense, and I don't think it's that bad. Everyone's very nice. I gotta eat some lunch, so I gotta get some banh mi. There's a place that has really good reviews, and it's known for having crispy pork banh mi, which is a little bit different, and it sounds incredible. So let's go try.
Cranberry juice, old paper news. If it's all the same, then tell me what is the use?
So if you're not already familiar, banh mi is a very famous Vietnamese sandwich. And the interesting thing about it is that the word banh mi actually just translates to bread. So what that means is that there are a lot of different versions of banh mi, but they're all banh mi. Typically, it's pork, pate, a bunch of different vegetables, cilantro's on there, some sauces. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, but that's kind of typical. The version I have just gone for has crispy pork on it, which I think sounds incredible. And it cost me just about $1 US. Now that I am full of banh mi, it is time for the big excitement of the day. You know that when I see a new city, I love to do a free walking tour. It's a great way to get an introduction from a local. However, we're kicking it up a notch. Instead of a walking tour, I'm going to be doing a motorbike tour of Ho Chi Minh City. My driver Daniel has just arrived. I'm gonna hop on the back of his bike, and he's gonna show me Ho Chi Minh City. Our first stop of the day is here at the post office Phu Di. I'm working on my Vietnamese today. You'll recognize lots of Western-looking architecture here. This was built during the French colonial period. You can see up there that it was built from 1886 till 1891. And there are names of different scientists across the front of the building, as well as Greek gods and lotus flowers to represent Buddhism. So you have this mixing of East and West throughout the architecture that's really fascinating. The architecture here is just really, really interesting. And of course, it is still an active post office, so a very popular thing for tourists to do is to come here, buy a postcard, and send it back home. This building over my shoulder here is a very historic one. At the end of the Vietnam War in 1975, it was on the top of that very building that Americans and several allied South Vietnamese people escaped from South Vietnam via helicopter. Just across from the post office is the beautiful Notre Dame Cathedral, which is unfortunately under construction. But if you just turn around the corner, you have another very exciting sight to see, which is Book Street. If you know me, you know I had to visit Book Street. It's so cute. There's a coffee shop, there are English bookstores, lots to explore, and lots of postcards for sale. So you can buy one here and then send it from the post office. My guide told me that the cathedral has actually been under renovation since 2017, and it is projected to be under renovation until 2027. So I don't think you're going to be seeing the facade anytime soon, but hopefully maybe in the 2030s. We're just making a quick stop here at the outside of the Reunification Palace, formerly known as the Independence Palace during the Vietnam War. This building was actually bombed in 1962, so it is a rebuilt version of it. And you can actually see, if you look closely at the architecture, that the principles of feng shui were very much involved in the design of this building because it was built by a local Vietnamese architect. Just stopped for a little coffee break. It's sort of drizzling outside, so it's good to be indoors. And I have ordered a Vietnamese coffee, so that is iced drip coffee with condensed milk. One of my favorite parts of the entire day was actually our stop at the coffee shop. Daniel and I just got to talk for a really long time, and we covered everything from Vietnamese history and politics to language learning to AI. It was really, really cool. And the opportunity to just hang out with a local, with another young person, is something that you don't get all the time when you're traveling. And I feel really, really grateful. We are here at an incredible stop. This building was originally a house owned by a man who was essentially a spy. He worked as a spy to help Northern Vietnam with their planned 1968 attack on the Independence Palace here in Ho Chi Minh City, of course at the time still referred to as Saigon. He built this bunker in the bottom of his family home so that he could hide weapons here to be used by these attackers when they attacked the Independence Palace. The museum is fascinating. The house is preserved as it was at the time, so you really get to go from what looks like just a normal house to crawling through the floorboards and up to the attic, and you can see where the weapons were held.
Ivy and vine, paper cut lines. This kind of sight, it robs ordinary people blind. Birdies and bees, clean bruise-free knees. They've never had to bow down to gravity.
It's getting close to rush hour, so we are headed to Chinatown next so that we don't hit some crazy traffic. But that may happen anyway, we'll see.
Bed uptown trains, boring holes in their brains, waiting for a gaze to make a change. Holes in the wall, can't really see it all. It's more than a walk down a hollowed hall.
I think it's safe to say we did not exactly avoid traffic. But it wouldn't be Ho Chi Minh City without this experience. All right, we've arrived in Chinatown and we are crossing the street. Success! This beautiful temple behind me was built by Cantonese people here in Ho Chi Minh City in 1780. It is a temple dedicated to the goddess of the sea. The traffic here is so close together that we keep stopping next to this mom and two young boys on a bike next to us. And we're having this whole exchange. They don't speak much English. My Vietnamese is non-existent. But at every stoplight, we just keep saying, hello, how are you? We're now just driving up to the flower market. I learned that the flower market is actually open 24/7 because they're receiving flowers from the Mekong Delta. People are buying them for all different occasions. So we're just gonna drive through it on the motorbike, which I'm super excited about. As you can imagine, it smells so nice in here.
Bed uptown trains, boring holes in their brains, waiting for a gaze to make a change. Holes in the wall, can't really see it all. It's more than a walk down a hollowed hall.
What an unbelievable afternoon. That tour was so incredible and just the most ideal way to get an introduction to the city. I cannot believe that I got a private motorbike tour of Ho Chi Minh City for 21 USD. Now, this is a group tour. I just got kind of lucky that no one else signed up, but it was so incredible, so affordable. It was 4 hours long. I learned so very much. Honestly, the main highlight for me was my driver, Daniel. He was so well informed, so kind. His English was incredible, which of course, it's on me that I don't speak Vietnamese, but I really appreciated it. I got to learn so much about the history of Ho Chi Minh City and Vietnam on the whole. Before I call it a day, there's one more thing I have to check out, which is Walking Street. Walking Street is kind of the going out party street here, similar to Khao San Road in Bangkok or Pub Street in Siem Reap. I think it's gonna be something that we just have to experience together, so let's go. So the sign may say Walking Street, but as always, there are also motorbikes. I'm so glad that I got to experience Walking Street. I actually really liked it. I mean, of course there are the crazy clubs and the loud music stops, but it actually has quiet sections where you can sit with a beer. I mean, when I say quiet, relatively, but I don't know. And the place where I stopped for a beer, the beer was $1. So even though it may be party street, it's definitely very, very affordable. I definitely recommend finding a quieter corner if that's what you're looking for. The rooftop bar I went to, which was definitely on the higher end, fancier side, had $6 cocktails. So as far as splurges go, definitely very, very worth it. It is my second day here in Ho Chi Minh City. However, today's exploring is actually taking place about 2 hours outside of the city. We are headed to the Cu Chi tunnels. This is an absolute must when you come to Ho Chi Minh City. I booked a tour. It was about $16. You can find many online. It's a half-day tour, so I should be back in the city in the afternoon, but it's going to be a big day. I got on the bus this morning. We're here at a rest stop right now, and in about another 40-ish minutes, we should be arriving at the tunnels. We just made it to the entrance to the Cu Chi tunnels, and already there's a lot going on. So you can hear gunshots in the background because one of the things that people do here as tourists is try out shooting a gun. Personally, not really my style, so I won't be partaking, but it's an option if you want to pay extra to do that. Also, as soon as you walk in, there are examples of booby traps that were used, as well as one of the old entrances to the tunnels. Now, before we try actually crawling into the tunnels, we are going to practice the entrance. Now, tourists these days are quite a bit bigger than the Vietnamese soldiers from that time period, so they have created larger entrances for the main portions of the tunnels, but I do believe that this entrance that you can practice with is the same size as the ones that the soldiers used, though I'm not 100% sure. Oh boy.
Right, put leaves on, more leaves. Put leaves on. Both hands up, straight up your arms. Perfect.
So before we get deeper into the tunnels, quite literally, let me give you a little bit of very important background history. The Cu Chi tunnels were built by the Viet Cong, that is the communist northern Vietnamese soldiers, and they were used over several years for many different specific purposes, and they really were a huge part of why the northern Vietnamese won the Vietnam War. There are several openings to the tunnels that are way more obvious than the ones that are hidden under leaves, like the one that we all went into. These entrances that were easy to find were actually decoys, and they were lined with booby traps so that the actual tunnels could remain hidden.
Pass by towns, pass by signs. Pass by days, pass by lives.
Throughout the war, up to 16,000 people lived in these tunnels. At the end of the war, only about 5,000 remained, and that's not actually because of attacks on the tunnels specifically, but because of bombs. All right, it's officially time. We're gonna put my ever so slight claustrophobia to the test. There are 100 meters of tunnels that you can access as a tourist. And luckily for me, they are split up. So there's the 20-meter option, the 40-meter, I think the 60 and the 100. There are also exits along the way, so you don't have to do the full 100. After the first 20 meters, it gets a lot smaller. So the first 20 meters are the widest tunnels, which is I think what I will be sticking to. After that, the tunnels get significantly more narrow. And there is a point where you do have to crawl on your hands and knees. So I don't think I'll be going that far. These tunnels have, of course, been reinforced for tourists, so they are a bit wider than they used to be. They're definitely safer, but it's still a little scary.
Hometowns that don't grow up, heartbreak and childhood love and time. I wouldn't mind.
I am fully crouched. I can't really see where I'm going. I have my phone flashlight. I can't believe this is the largest of them.
Destinations get their names. The biggest words mark their place.
So there are 100 meters of tunnels that you can access as a tourist, and they are split up into 20-meter long sections. So the nice thing about that is that every 20 meters you have the option to exit. The first 20-meter section is the widest, but you are still fully crouched over, backpack on the front, very careful the whole time. I just did the first 20 because I was a little worried that after that it supposedly gets a lot smaller and a lot more claustrophobic. So I was happy with my initial 20 meters. They did go by very quickly. You're kind of just in and out, which I think is okay. So a couple of tips that may seem obvious, but may not. Don't wear white. You're doing a lot of crawling around. Your pants, your shirt will get very dirty. Also, it's really hot outside, but we are in the jungle. So sunscreen, bug spray, you know the drill. But these are things when you're focused on the history and these incredible tunnels, you might forget things like bug spray. But I was able to buy some here, so that's good too.
The smaller points unknown, call somebody home, but I paid it no mind.
We're now trying some tapioca, which is dipped in some salt or sugar. I will find out in a moment. It's like a potato. Dipped in sugar? Interesting.
Pass by towns, pass by signs. All I miss, driving by. I only know the levers, the loudest ones to raise their voice, and I'll never catch the silence fever, 'cause I belong to a land of noise. I belong to a land of noise. I belong to a land of noise.
I made it back from the tour, which all things considered, I would say was worth it. I'm not going to actually name the tour because A, I don't think that it was particularly great, and B, I'm not actually even sure what the name of the company was. I just Googled half-day Coochie Tunnels tour. And that said, I wouldn't really consider this a half-day tour. I was there from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. To me, that's a full day. But it's 2 hours from the city, so that makes sense. I do think it's worth paying a little bit extra to get on a smaller tour. My tour was 24 people, and while it only cost me $16, 24 people is a lot of people to wait for to move on to next stops. People do recommend combining the Coochie Tunnels with the War Remnants Museum here in Ho Chi Minh City. I will definitely be visiting tomorrow, but I've heard that it's quite graphic, so I'm not going to include it in the vlog, but I did want to mention it because it is very important to see while you're here in Ho Chi Minh City. Hello from the Vietnamese island paradise of Phu Quoc. If you have been following my channel, then you know I have spent the last few weeks exploring Vietnam from top to bottom, and now I am here, sadly, at my last destination in this beautiful country. I am here on the island of Phu Quoc, which is in the southwest of the country. It's actually quite close to Cambodia. Even though it's not currently the rainy season officially, there has been quite a lot of rain in the forecast. But the good news is it's not currently raining, so we're taking advantage here at the beach.
It feels a little bit heavy, like I'm told it should. I was a little unready, didn't know if I could.
I I arrived on the island last night. It was about a 45-minute flight from Ho Chi Minh City, so it was pretty easy to get to. There is a budget airline, Vietjet, that you can take here. When I arrived, it was absolutely pouring rain, so I am so grateful that we have some clear skies, or mostly clear skies, to enjoy at the beach today. Now, I am certainly not the only tourist here, but you may notice the beach is not as crowded as you might expect a place this beautiful to be. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of the history of this island or why that might be, but I do know that it's relatively new as a beach island destination here in Vietnam. So I think this video is the perfect opportunity to explore and try to figure out, is visiting this island really worth it? And why aren't more people coming here? So I've been here now at the beach for several hours. I finally got in the water. I was very focused on finishing my book, so I did that. I may or may not have gotten a tan. I think we'll see in a couple hours. But overall, the beach has been really nice. There have been a few other people kind of coming and going. It's definitely not crowded by any stretch. I will say the one downside that I find personally is the dogs. There are a few stray dogs here on the beach that just don't look like they're well. Obviously, I feel very bad for the dogs, but they come quite close to you and it makes me a little uncomfortable. So that's the only thing. Other than that, the beach is beautiful, the weather's good, the prices are great. So overall, maybe 9 out of 10. So I'm just leaving now. That was Angry Crab Beach Bar, and it was an honestly really solid option for if you just want a stretch of beach, a couple drinks. It's a good place to sit. There was no chair fee for the beanbags, which I always appreciate. The drinks were also super affordable. I think my mango smoothie was 80,000 dong, so that's less than 4 USD, and you know, you're paying to be on the beach, so you won't hear me complaining. As I'm walking around, I'm seeing lots of really beautiful luxury resorts and hotels. I could be wrong, but they do seem empty. Now, to be fair, the weather forecast for this weekend was really, really bad. It was supposed to rain the entire time, so that could definitely be a factor. But I have heard that this is something that other people have noticed, that parts of this island feel kind of empty.
With everything and nothing holding me here, now I'm making plans for the rest of the year.
I grabbed a quick banh mi on the way home from the beach. It was 45,000. They also had an option with less meat for 25,000. So we're talking $1 to $3. I did, of course, then go around the corner and find a place that had banh mi for 15,000, which is less than $1. So I think you can definitely do this island very, very affordably, but you may have to know slightly more where to look. But again, we're talking a difference of $2. The sun is just going down now and it'll soon be time for dinner. So I figured it's the perfect opportunity to check out the night market here on the island. I have heard mixed things about the night market, but I am curious to see it. And again, the rain has held out, so I may have just jinxed it, but hopefully it'll stay dry. Already I'm really impressed. It's much larger than I was expecting. There are full storefronts as well as lots of stands with food and souvenirs. I've heard it's mostly food, but there seem to be a lot of things to buy as well.
And everyone is saying it's not a choice that I need to make. It's just a voice pointing out everything that's at stake. No one I know is gonna show me the way, but I know staying put is still choosing to stay.
Obviously, we're on an island. Seafood is the thing to eat here. I haven't quite decided what direction I'm taking tonight's dinner in just yet, but it is really fun to watch people choose which fish they will eat from the tanks and then see the person grill it up right next to them. think it's fair to say that the tan that I got on the beach earlier is setting in. That's all right. It's okay. I just stopped for some dinner at a Thai place. It was called Pad Thai. So I ordered the Pad Thai. It was really well reviewed and I see why. It was delicious. It was a couple of dollars. I think generally here prices are a bit higher than on the mainland in Vietnam, but not by much. The market is definitely a bit more crowded now. I think that it starts to fill up as the evening goes on. So I might do another walk through, maybe do a little souvenir shopping. But otherwise, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Pretty successful first day here on the island. It is another day here on the beautiful island of Phu Quoc. I think you may be able to tell that my camera lens is fogging up a bit with this humidity. We have a little bit of rain today, but I don't think it's gonna stick. I think we're gonna have another beautiful day. Today I've decided to check out a different part of the island. I'm currently in the sort of main area, the main township, which is called Vinh Dong. I definitely need to work on my Vietnamese pronunciation. In fact, the name of the island, a lot of English speakers pronounce the island Phu Quoc because that is kind of how it's spelled from an English-speaking mindset, Q-U-O-C, we would say Quoc or something along those lines. But I did speak to a few Vietnamese people who taught me that the correct pronunciation is something along the lines of Phu Quoc, so that's what I've been trying to say. But the pronunciation is quite difficult here. I am not good at all at Vietnamese. So if you are Vietnamese or you speak Vietnamese and you're following, please let me know. Give me some tips for how I can pronounce these words better. The southern tip of the island is known for having many large resorts, beautiful beaches, and a very famous cable car. So we're gonna see what we can get up to today. We're gonna hope that the weather holds out. Regardless, it's going to be another beautiful day on this beautiful island.
Talks a little bit to me like I wished he would. He sees a little bit through me where the walls once stood.
Well, welcome to Sunset Town. That is the actual name of where I am right now. I can't believe this. If you showed me a picture of where I am and asked me to guess what country this was in, I can't say Vietnam would have been my first guess. I am here in, as you can tell, what is essentially a fake Italian village. And I gotta say, it's beautiful. It does feel a little bit empty here, kind of in a Las Vegas or Disney World sort of way, where you know that this was built for tourists. It's not like people live in these buildings, but it's really beautiful and I'm just really excited to do some exploring. It's a very unique place to be. It's a bit windy here as I'm closer to the water, but over my shoulder here is the Kiss Bridge. It's a very cute concept. There's two sides to the bridge and they don't quite connect, but they're close enough that one person can stand on one and the other can stand on the other, and you can kiss. This really is so interesting because there are so many buildings around and I assume that they're all resorts or most of them are resorts, but there aren't many people out. I mean, it's good weather, so maybe they're at the beach, but it definitely feels like there's a lot more potential here than is being put to use. And I don't know why that is. I'm now just walking around this resort area and a lot of things are closed. I mean, behind me is, or was, or maybe will be, a restaurant. There's a fountain here that's not on. It's really interesting. I mean, the optimist in me is hoping that it just means that they're preparing for more tourists and doing construction and things like that. It does make me wonder if they're preparing for maybe more of a boom in tourism to come, or if this was something that was intended for maybe 2020 and the world events maybe stopped it. I just stopped for some lunch. I had some seafood fried rice. It was about $4.33, which is obviously very affordable, but more expensive than a non-touristy location here in Vietnam. I'm so intrigued by this. Right now, it's the middle of the day, it's a weekend. There's no one at this craft beer place. Maybe it's not open, but there's no one on the beach. There's no one on the Kiss Bridge either. It's not the off season, it's the on season. I don't know what's going on. Behind me, you can see the famous cable car here on the island. I was thinking about riding it today. However, it's already about 4:30 p.m. and I just found out, almost too late, that the last ride of the day is at 5 o'clock. So if you are planning on going, plan ahead. The ticket costs around $25.50 USD round trip, and I believe that also includes a ticket to the water park that the cable car takes you to. I will just say, be careful if you're buying your ticket in person, because I went to buy a ticket from one of the resort lobbies here, and they almost didn't tell me before I purchased it that the last ride of the day is at 5. So I guess I was buying a ticket for tomorrow, but they didn't tell me that. So I'm really, really glad I asked before I bought it. On Kem Beach. It's known for being one of the most beautiful beaches on the island, and I can definitely see why. I'm on the east side of the island, whereas before I've been sticking to the west side, and it feels a little different. It's definitely still a bit cloudy, but the sky is still blue, the waves are beautiful, and it's so peaceful, even with a little wind. I'd say the beach on this side of the island feels a lot cleaner and nicer than the beach that I went to on the west side. There are more resorts in this area, but there are beach bars as well and places to lay out. I've gotten a chair at one of the beach bars here. There was actually no fee for the seat. There's just a minimum spend of 150K dong per person. That's roughly 6 USD. Super affordable, very reasonable, and it is just such a beautiful spot here on the beach. The one thing that is a little bit odd is that you do have to spend the entire minimum spend in one go. So I did have to order 2 beers at the same time, but again, with this view, I'm very happy.
I've learned to ignore the way. Not all who hurt have to numb the pain.
I don't know what that's about.
I can bear it pushing down on me. It's only a little bit heavy.
It has to happen. The true test. I'm getting in the water.
It's not a choice that I need to make. It's just a voice pointing out everything that's at stake. No one I know is gonna show me the way, but I know staying put is still choosing to stay.
Now, to be fair, it's a bit windy, but the water's pretty warm. I mean, I don't know, it's not cold anyway. As I'm standing out here on this perfect beach, I'm realizing that this is not only the end of this video, but the end of my entire Vietnam series. These past few weeks have been more than I could have ever hoped for. I have had the best time in this country, and I'm just so grateful that I got to have this experience, to meet all the people that I met, to eat the food that I got to eat. It's been so incredible. Thank you to everyone who came along, who watched, to everyone that I met on this journey. It's just been so beyond what I could have imagined. I'm so sad that it's over, but I will absolutely be back. While it may be the end of this chapter, I have so many more videos on the way that I've already planned, and some of them I'm filming before I even get home to the US. So you're gonna wanna make sure you're subscribed, turn on notifications, and stay tuned because there's so much more on the way. So with that, I will say thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon.